And good afternoon, everybody. My name is Robert Parrish, and I'm here to give a presentation on light pollution. I'm also the person who was the one who sought the original certification for Dr. Lawless International Dark Sky Park. And it was a 2.5-year journey, a lot of pulling the hair out, a lot of cussing and whining, but eventually we got it through. And I did it in memory of my dad. And that's why you see on that particular logo, those two figures are representative of my dad and myself. And the constellation above them, and Ophiuchus has sort of been known as the celestial medicine man. So that's a shout out to Dr. Lawless, the namesake of the park. And you'll see that Dr. Lawless International Dark Sky Park, the gateway to Michigan dark skies, but only if we protect it. So, like I said, my name is Robert Parrish. I'm the Vice President of Cass County Parks and Recreation. I'm a delegate to International Dark Sky Association. I received my master's and bachelor's from Western Michigan University, and without a doubt, I'm a card-carrying nerd. As my wife likes to say, I was born a nerd and I've been losing ground ever since. And she's right. But if you still kind of doubt that fact, what we're going to do next is travel back in time. I don't know how many of you have virtually done any kind of time travel before, so this might be a first, but it goes pretty smooth, and we're going to use these old-time ladies with their old-time dance. It's the original time warp dance. And that coupled with the right kind of music, we are going to go back to the year 1963. So hang on. And we're back. 1963 is where it's all started. That's my dad behind me. Like I say, he was my inspiration in seeking certification for the park. And that's me when I was 7 years old. And what you see between my dad and I is what Santa Claus brought me for Christmas that year, and that was a telescope. So between my dad, that telescope, and the space race of the 60s, I've been hooked ever since. But in addition to being a nerd, I'm also a Michigander at heart. And I saw this the other day and I thought it was pretty cute. Michiganders are bi-peninsular and proud because we have two peninsulas. And in Michigan, our top industries are, of course, the auto industry, agriculture, and tourism. And I've written in there, including astrotourism, which nationwide is really on the rise. As a matter of fact, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, which produces the Pure Michigan ad campaign that you'll see on television, they have come out in support of the idea that Michigan needs to get behind the astrotourism industry. And as a matter of fact, to support Michigan Dark Skies and to promote it, they came out with this commercial. Thought that was a pretty nice commercial. But with astrotourism, that puts Cass County at a unique opportunity. It's estimated that 80% of the population of the United States has never seen the Milky Way, and that's what's driving the astrotourism. People are traveling to see the stars. Out at our park, the vast majority of visitors we get are either from the Chicagoland or Metro Detroit area. And the unique thing they always say is, boy, I wish we had stars at home like you do out here. Well, you do. You just can't see them because of the light pollution. Michigan's dark sky movement is really flourishing. We were the first state in the union to recognize the importance of protecting dark skies by coming up with what they call Michigan Dark Sky Preserves. And formerly, that was reserved for lands that were managed by the Michigan DNR, but that has been changed, and so both our park and Headlands Park are now Michigan dark sky preserves. Cass County is poised to be the gateway to Michigan dark skies, with tourism being one of Michigan's top industries. The MEDC wholly supports the rise of astrotourism, and to take advantage of this movement, Cass County needs to protect its natural resources. But to protect the night sky, we all need to understand light pollution. There's no sense of trying to fix something when you don't understand it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try and break down light pollution into 3 different segments. And this first video we're gonna watch, hopefully that will act as a primer to get you started on your way.
The invention of the electric light bulb 150 years ago was one of the most transformative milestones in history. This new form of light, artificial light, brightened and made safe once dark streets, prolonged waking hours into the evening, and brought electricity into homes for the very first time. Today, this glow has grown, but at a cost. Light pollution is the over-illumination of cities and night skies by artificial lighting. It's caused by the abundance of light sources emitting light outside of an intended direction. Several types of light pollution exist, including glare, which is a disruptive light that shines horizontally; light trespass, the unwanted shining of light onto nearby areas; and sky glow, a halo over inhabited areas caused by the scattering of light particles. No matter what form light pollution takes, each can have unintended yet harmful impacts. Wildlife, particularly sea turtles, have had their nocturnal patterns disrupted. The turtle hatchling's instinct to follow the light of the moon in order to reach the sea is intercepted by the light of inland cities. Because of this, many never find their way to the ocean. Humans' well-being is also compromised by light pollution. The excess light can overwhelm photoreceptor cells in the retina, damaging one's eyesight. Plus, it disrupts natural sleep cycles and causes sleep deprivation, leading to a number of health problems, possibly including cancer. Light pollution also results in the production of additional carbon emissions. Each year, potentially billions of dollars worth of coal or oil, which are burned to produce electricity, are wasted on unnecessary light. Over the past several decades, light pollution in North America has increased an estimated 6 to 10% each year, a rise fueled by growing populations, greater access to electricity, and increased urban development. Efforts have been made to help counter this rise in excess light, including the development of alternative energy-efficient light bulbs and smarter directional lighting designs. These and other innovations will continue to refine this 150-year-old technology, artificial light, and optimize it for a brighter future.
So do we have any questions yet from the audience, my big audience here?
What color of light affects it the most?
Usually the higher the color. If you go up like to the 5,000 Kelvin or above, that's very rich in the blue spectrum, and that's very bad for you. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the program. So, down light pollution into 3 separate categories: light trespass, sky glow, and over illumination. Light trespass is easy. I like to define it as any kind of unwanted light that crosses property lines. For instance, you might have a neighbor who's blasting your house at night with bright lights shining in your window, keeping you awake. That happens at my house. And that's light trespass. To me, it's no different than your neighbor playing loud music at 2 o'clock in the morning. It keeps you awake. It's just affecting a different sense is all. The second is sky glow. This particular picture was taken several years ago south of South Bend, Indiana, looking north. And if you didn't know different, you might think the city's on fire. But that's all wasted light created by poorly designed light fixtures. And the problem with that is that the majority of that light is probably coming from street lights, and the electricity going towards making that wasted light is being paid for by taxpayers. And not only is it hitting your pocket, but it's bad for your health and bad for the environment, which we'll get into a little bit later also. And over illumination. Very simply, too many lights. As you can see, this is an apartment complex, maybe some condos. Each one of them looks like it has a balcony or a patio. You can sit out at night and just sit and bask in man-made light. And not to mention in the summertime with all those lights, I imagine it's really drawing in the bugs too. And it probably makes it difficult for the residents at this particular address to sleep well at night. So any questions on that? Are we good? All righty. So how do we tackle light pollution? You need to learn to identify good versus bad lighting, and you need to start at home. It's kind of hard to tell people that they're doing something wrong when you're doing the same thing. So you need to do an inventory of your own property and make sure that the lights that you have on are dark sky compliant. Be proactive, consider becoming a dark sky advocate, and educate others. Now the next video you're going to see is without a doubt a very corny video. It was recorded and produced by the park rangers at Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and even though it is very corny, it does get the point across.
If you saw our other videos, you learned how night lighting and light pollution are impacting animals and actually ruining our views of the night sky.
Yeah, but seriously, we need lights at nighttime because they help keep us safe, right?
Well, sort of. Actually, one of the major problems is ineffective lighting. Take this one, for example. It was designed to look pretty good in a kind of 70s groovy style during the daytime. But what happens at night? Whoa! All right, it's night, but it's also raining.
Want a jacket?
Oh, sure.
Here you go.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay. Well, as you can see, the light is now on, and its purpose is one thing and one thing only: to illuminate the ground so I can see where I'm going. Unfortunately, you can see that only about 50% of that light is actually doing that. 10% is shining right into your eyes, and the other 40% is just going straight into the night sky. And unless we're looking to light up leaves and the undersides of birds' bellies, that's just totally wasted light.
I know. Let's talk about glare and safety for a moment. Let's use this light here as an example. This light shines directly into our eyes. Its glare causes our pupils to contract, blinding us to the darkness.
Wow, the glare is really bad.
Yeah, it's like car headlights blinding you at night. but in this case, we can fix it. So if we shield this light so that all of the light is pointing on the ground,
Wow, that's a lot better.
our eyes relax a little bit, our pupils start to dilate, and we can see everything in the dark, including the scary-looking guy who's been hiding out in the shadows this whole time.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea he was hiding there. So why do we have these style lights in our parks? Well, it's the same reason you've got them in your towns and your cities, and that's because nobody thought about it when they were designing them. But we're thinking about it now, and we're striving to make changes to help fix our lighting and bring back our dark nights.
Oh, have you heard of the International Dark Sky Association? They're an organization dedicated to protecting the night skies. We plan on working with them to fix our lights. If we all work together, the savings are huge. Since nearly half of all lights in the US point upwards, we waste an estimated $3 billion of electricity each year.
Saving money, protecting wildlife, and bringing back the Milky Way, that's what I call a win-win-win situation.
So what are we waiting for?
So what are we waiting for?
No, you're the one who's waiting.
Who's waiting here?
I'm not waiting.
Let's go!
Well, I told you it was corny, and it was, but hopefully it got the message across. And the one thing that they did in there is something that you do at home. How many here have either table lamps or floor lamps at home? Everybody. But do you keep it in your house bare bulb, or do you put a shade on front of it? Why? Right, you get rid of that glare. It makes a nice softer light. It's more pleasing. But yet, one of the most beautiful things that Mother Nature has to offer is a starry-filled night sky, and we don't follow the same rules outside. It just doesn't make sense to me. Moving on. This is a representation going from left to right from very bad designed fixtures, lighting fixtures, to much, much better. As you can see, the one on the left all the way over to the left, light is being thrown out from that fixture in a 360-degree arc. A lot of it is being wasted. And not only that, you're wasting not only the light, but anybody? Bueller? Energy, exactly. You're wasting the energy to produce that wasted light, and it's affecting your pocketbook. Now you move over one more, and that's a little bit better. You're not getting all that light going directly, vertically up into the air, but you're still getting some. Move over to better. That's even better yet. That's why it's called better. And you're cutting off the light almost horizontally. It's keeping it from going up in the air, but you're still getting the chance of that light shining in your eyes. So the best is a fully shielded light that covers the light source, focuses it down on the ground. And because you're taking all the light and focusing it down on the ground where you want it in the first place, you can actually get away with using a less powerful fixture. What else is different about that one? Yes? Right. It's very important to make sure that whatever light you're putting up, not only is it fully shielded, but it has to be a color temperature of 3,000 or 2,700 Kelvin or less. And the reason for that is because otherwise you're going to have light that's very rich in the blue light spectrum. And the blue light spectrum is a very short, very powerful wavelength, and it has the ability to scatter. That's why, like today, when we did have nice sunny skies, that blue light from the sun scatters and we get a blue sky. It's the same effect. Another thing that we might be able to do, any ideas? That's the one. Make sure, do you need it on at all? A lot of people leave their lights on, porch light on all night long. That's just a waste of energy. Right, motion detectors, we highly recommend them. We also highly recommend timers too. So that's, when it comes to identifying proper outdoor lighting, make sure that it is fully shielded, 3,000 Kelvin or less, and if possible, motion detectors or timers. Light pollution is bad for the environment and human health. Ecologists say that light pollution is very bad for all kinds of ecological life, especially birds this time of year, because all these big birds are migrating back north, and a lot of birds migrate by both the stars and the sun. And when we light up our cities like there's no tomorrow, it confuses the birds. They fly towards the cities. When they get there, there's no sustenance for them. And a lot of them end up crashing into buildings because birds are drawn to light much like bugs are. Entomologists say that we're on the verge of an insect apocalypse. And a lot of people don't like insects, so they might say, great, I don't like insects anyway. The problem is they're a very necessary part of the food chain. And so when we take away the insects, the rest of the food chain in ecology will suffer. And finally, the AMA.
It's becoming abundantly clear just how much our bodies need it. Fountain Hills, one of the newest dark sky communities in the world. Fewer bright lights at night means a better view of the constellations, but that's not all.
It's a benefit for the night wildlife. It's a benefit for being able to see the stars and the health of the citizens.
Wait, there are health benefits to a darker night sky? Yes, and doctors say the impacts are critical.
When you look at blue light after dark, it turns off your body's ability to make melatonin, which is the hormone that's responsible for deep sleep.
But it's not just the blue lights outside, it's also the blue lights we allow inside our homes.
One of the worst things you can do is read a Kindle or an iPad. Go back to old-fashioned books because they're not backlit with a blue light that's going to disrupt your circadian rhythm.
That disruption of our body's internal clock leads to health issues. A report published by the American Medical Association shows a long-term increase in the risk for cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity from chronic sleep disruption or shift work and exposure to bright lights at night.
So what can we do to protect ourselves? Dr. Hunt recommends getting a pair of blue blocking glasses like these and wearing them whenever you're in front of a screen, especially if you're working on a computer at night.
You can also use apps like Flux on your devices that change the color temperature of the screen. But most importantly, pay attention to your body. Do you have brain fog, anxiety, depression?
If you're starting to feel those things and you know that it's a sleep issue, look at the blue light first, not last.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that? Because deep inside your brain is the pineal gland, and that's the gland that manufactures the compound melatonin. And when it gets dark at night, that's the signal for your brain or the pineal gland to start producing that melatonin to make you feel sleepy. But they're also finding out now that that compound has a lot of cancer fighting abilities built into it. And so when people are exposed to large amounts of light pollution, say shift workers especially, they're finding out that they have a much higher incidence of both breast and prostate cancer. Something to think about. Light pollution as related to crime. This is the one section I get the most pushback on. Anybody here believe that more light equals less crime? Kind of a trick question, isn't it? That's the common thought. You know, we've been told that for years and years, that oh, you need more light. It's like complaining about somebody speeding down your road and saying, well, we need a speed limit sign up here. Well, I don't think people really care, you know. So the same with crime. I don't think how many lights you put outside the house is going to deter a criminal, because if that criminal has enough courage to break into your house, steal something, I don't think a light's going to scare him away. Now, the next video we're going to watch is from a gentleman who's a professor at the University of Utah. And I don't know his real name, but he goes by the moniker of the Dark Ranger.
Gotcha! Hi, I'm the Dark Ranger. Did you see me hiding there? Probably not, because this is a bad design for lighting. What we have here are hard shadows. They're created by the fact that this light post was placed right in the middle of two trees. Now, it's not a very good situation for safety, because the bad guys know the human eye can't penetrate the hard shadows. So that's where you hide and set up an ambush. And of course, the best thing is the psychology. Next to a light, people think they're safe, so they're going to have their guard down. It's a dangerous situation. It's also not very good for the trees themselves, because in fact, trees use the number of hours of continuous darkness to tell them what season of the year it is. You can kind of think of like darkness being a calendar for trees. And I would guess that these trees probably blossom a little bit too early in the spring. Maybe they have to deal with a hard cold snap, and they probably hang onto their leaves a little bit too late in the fall, all compromising the health of the tree, reducing its ability to grow, things like that. Now, of course, on a university campus like we are here at the University of Utah, the health of the trees is not going to be our first concern. It's mostly going to be about public safety. But this is a classic example of where it's not the amount of light or even the amount of watts, a fairly powerful fixture you see there, but it's about making smart lighting. Smart lighting outsmarts the bad guys and makes your neighborhoods or campuses a safer place to be.
Any questions on that? No? So, crime and outdoor lighting. What we know is that people feel safer with night lighting, but improper lighting creates hard shadows and glare that masks a criminal's presence. Now, below that, I've got the word story, and I'm going to tell you a story about a big study that was done in London, England, put on by a university over there, and they wanted to find out if their hypothesis of adding much more lights would reduce crime in a particular area. So they took two neighborhoods that were demographically almost exactly the same. And in one, they did nothing. That was the control neighborhood. And in the second neighborhood, they added up to 50% extra lighting spaced out through the entire neighborhood. And they did nothing else, but for 5 years, they studied the crime levels of those two different neighborhoods. And at the end of those 5 years, they crunched all the numbers and they looked at the control neighborhood. And it's pretty much the same. There was some variance here and there, but nothing really to speak of. And they looked at the other neighborhood where all the extra light was added, and they discovered crime went up significantly. And they couldn't figure this out because this seemed to fly in the face of most accepted common sense. So they kept beating their heads against the wall, trying to figure it out, and finally somebody said, hey, the cops did manage to apprehend a few people in that neighborhood that were criminals. Why don't we ask those criminals, why did you pick this neighborhood, which is significantly brighter than this one over here? Their answer, they said they felt safer in that neighborhood. The criminals felt safer. And the way I look at it, a lot of times when you're lighting up your property like there's no tomorrow, you're actually advertising the stuff you have on your property, and in many cases, you're providing a work light for the nefarious inclined. They don't even have to carry a flashlight. You're providing it for them. So, by far one of my favorite comic strips, Calvin and Hobbes. If people sat outside and looked at the stars each night, I bet they would live a lot differently. Now, how you believe we came to be on the planet Earth, it's your own business. Maybe you believe an all-powerful spirit put us here, or you might believe we're just here by scientific happenstance. But either way, there's no denying the fact that we're all made of star stuff. We are all made of star stuff. And when we pull a veil over the night sky, we cut off our ability to look back at our own past. Now, with that, I'm going to leave you with this.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
Carl Sagan and his wife, I think her name is Anne Ryman, they wrote the book Contact. And his wife was a dyed-in-the-wool Catholic, very much believe in the spiritual side of things, while her husband, Carl, is an atheist. He didn't believe at all. And they fought and fought like cats and dogs when they came to writing the book Contact, and I would highly recommend it. But they also made that into a movie, and at the end of the movie, I can't remember the actress's name now. Anyway, she's surrounded by a lot of little kids, and they're out in the desert looking up at the stars. And one of the kids asked her, "Do you think there's life out there besides us?" And she goes, "Well, if not, it seems like a tremendous waste of space." Jodie Foster, that's who it was. It was Jodie Foster. So if you ever get a chance to watch that movie, or if you've already seen it, see it again. But that ends my presentation. I want to thank you for taking the time to be here, or either out here or online. And in the words of John Lennon, I hope I pass the audition. Thank you.